Hello guys, and welcome to my new video of 50 random WoW facts. There was once an endless supply of ice-cold milk scattered around Stormwind City in barrels, which was useful if you were a low-level mana user and wanted to save gold. While in Dalaran, you may randomly get mana bonked by Minigob Mana Bonk. The gnome warlock Nibi the Almighty was previously planning to unleash a demon upon Stormwind City as punishment for exiling him. He managed to summon the Black Chicken of Death. Apple trees can be found in every district of Stormwind City. Iron Forge was a cheat code in the original Warcraft which updated all technology instantly. Ironforge was flooded in 24 AD with water from Lakeshire, when a mage removed the liquid filter from a mage portal. The voracious Ravagers first arrived on Azeroth aboard the Exodar. One of the male Draenei jokes is that in the Naaru language the word Exodar means defective electrode. The name Exodar is likely a modification of the word Exodus, referencing the Draenei's flight from Draenor and their search for a new home, similar to the Hebrew Exodus recounted in the Bible. When night falls, Windle Sparkshine will light most of the lamps in Dalaran, then stand outside the Alliance section of Dalaran and will sell Windle's lighter for 50 silver. Stormwind City used to be a big target for Horde players to kite world boss Lord Kazakh and then set him loose within the city. The Argent tournament was planned to be implemented directly underneath Dalaran, but the lag caused by the capital city made it impossible. At 34 mailboxes, Orgrimmar has the highest amount of mailboxes of all the major cities. Orgrimmar is the first capital city in the game to be featured in a raid. The Undercity doesn't have a fruit vendor. Using Detect Invisibility or a similar ability within the ruins of Lordaeron, within the walls but before entering the throne room, it is possible to see low-level undead mobs, each named Lordaeron Citizen, similar to the Unseen in Duskwood. There are portions of the Undercity where effects from Warcraft 3 were deliberately inserted into the game as ambient sounds. Those areas are the throne room, the hallway directly outside of it, and even the bell tower located just at its entrance. Near the bell you will hear the church bells ringing when Arthas returns to Lordaeron before he becomes a Death Knight. The name Pandaren is derived from the words panda and ren, the Pinyin Chinese word for person. Literally translated, Pandaren means panda people. The Draenei are taxonomically similar to the Protoss in Blizzard's game StarCraft. Both races are blue-skinned with blue-tinted blood, and both employ bipedal ungulligrade locomotion. The Goblin Silly Joke,
"Skip to step 3, Profit,"
is a reference to the South Park episode titled Underpants Gnomes. The Goblin Silly Joke,
"I am the little friend. Say hello,"
is a reference to the movie Scarface starring Al Pacino. In the beta, Tauren didn't have mounts, but instead had a racial skill called plains running to move fast over the distances, similar to the Worgen racial. Tauren are the only race that produces the proper sound effect when you use the moo emote. Because jungle trolls have a thin layer of fur and forest trolls are covered in moss, the true skin color of trolls is a mystery. The smell of their feet can be used to repel all kinds of beasts. In the Chinese version of WoW, a patch in 2007 covered up most of the bones of the Forsaken and Abominations. Paladin Blessings lasted 5 minutes, so by the time you buffed 40 raid members, the first ones you buffed would have 2 or 3 minutes left on their blessings, so they were essentially just rebuffing the raid all the time. The Wrath of the Lich King faction in Dalaran, the Kirin Tor, start with a neutral reputation standing with all other classes. Mages, however, are automatically friendly with the Kirin Tor, making it possible to purchase and wear the tabard of the Kirin Tor at level 1. The original concept for making a Death Knight was for the player to sacrifice a pre-existing level 80 character in order to create the Death Knight. This idea was later scrapped. The longest ever unkilled boss in WoW is Uro the Sandworm, 86 days after the first Twin Emperor's kill, with Khatoon and Onyxia just behind him. This is because he was very bugged at AQ release and he is an optional boss. Warlocks were able to summon people into battlegrounds, including people who are higher or lower level than the level bracket. In Alpha, there was a profession called survival skills. It was used for making campfire, which can now be made with cooking, and torches. The Talisman of Binding Shard was the very first legendary item to drop. Looted from Baron Geddon, the necklace was removed from the loot table. However, the one and only person to get this item was allowed to keep it. In one of the early versions of the game, both hunters and priests had melee talent trees. Hunters who wished to melee would choose the survival tree. Priests would choose the discipline tree, which explains why Inner Fire increased attack power. In the early days of World of Warcraft, epic mounts weren't so epic looking. In fact, they were just recolored versions of their normal counterparts. The cool armor got added much later. In the beta version of the game, the boat system was not quite all there. With many boat paths not in place and glitches and bugs galore, traveling was a bit of a problem. As a temp measure, Blizzard placed Captain Placeholder, an NPC that would teleport players from Menethil Harbor to Aberdeen. The good captain became so popular that after he was replaced by Captain Notio, players mourned his loss and a lament was even created for him that you can listen to here. While many thought we would never see the good captain again, he reappeared in the Cataclysm expansion, renamed Captain Placeholder, as a Horde-aligned character. He can be found dancing on the Goblin Raceway. There were no guards at Neutral City, so most of them were Slaughterfest. The warrior charge ability used to teleport you to your target, instead of increasing running speed. Spell schools used to have a skill system similar to weapon skills, having to level them up. There was only one flight path and one graveyard in the Barrens. Rogues and druids had feigned death abilities, but they were removed and given to hunters. The only enchanting trainer at higher level was in Uldaman. Mages had an ability called Khadgar's Unlocking, which was like Rogue's Pickloss. Hellfire Peninsula was supposed to be a 54-60 zone. Andor Hall in Western Plaguelands was a very difficult elite area. Molten Core geared players had problems with it. The difference between repair bills of plate gear and cloth gear was much higher. The training dummies existed in the game since release, but they were made usable, targetable, only in Wrath of the Lich King. You can see Azeroth in some areas of the Black Temple. The Warlock spell, Ritual of Summoning, didn't create a meeting stone like Portal. It was used to summon individual players. Warlocks sometimes had to farm 30 plus soul shards to summon the whole raid. Before hunter pets were normalized, all pets had different stats and attack speed. There was a rare cat mob in Badlands called Broken Tooth, which could be tamed by hunters. He was considered the ultimate hunter pet because he had a 1.0 attack speed, which made him a true nightmare for casters. So guys, thanks for watching, hope you liked it, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you next time.